I know I'm not the only one who's breaking this news by now, and by the time this video gets released, obviously everyone already knows this information. It's not going to make much difference. I don't even care. I have to talk about it because of my fucking name. Because why not? I'm Quake Ranger Taya! Let me talk about this. So, I was out of the house when this was announced, but there was rumors that there was possibility that they were going to release a Quake remake in a sort. And I've had conversations about, you know, if they were to remake Quake, do you think they'll be able to do a better job than what we see? And I've always been under the camp of, like, even if they remake it, I'm not sure how I fully feel, because Quake 1 just... It's a classic to its own degree, but it also was just kind of to me at the same time, based on the development history of what it could have been and all the other stuff. But, I'm always in this weird camp where it's like, I don't want them to remake it because I like Quake 2 more in the Strog War, but at the same time, they could remake it and make it better. But that's not what we got announced today with QuakeCon starting up. What we got announced today was a Quake Remastered of sorts that's being released for PS4 and the Switch, and I think the Xbox One S, Series S, X, or whatever Microsoft calls that console at this point. I lose track of this. And it's going to... It releases with some new visuals and some new stuff, and from the trailer that I watched, it looks like it's some visual upgrades, but it's minor enough to where it doesn't blow out the game. It's not like what Dark Places did, where it just completely makes it a different game. It's going to have 4-player split screen, it's going to have multiplayer and co-op, it's going to have online multiplayer and co-op, which is something that Doom didn't even do. And then the biggest thing I didn't expect is crossplay. So everyone can play together no matter where you are. And so that was actually a pretty cool update. It's going to include, obviously, the base starter game that Quake came with. It's going to include the 2 expansions that it released with. It's going to include... I'm not sure if it's going to... It's including the 3rd one that someone made for Quake, and then there's a new one, or there's 2 of the original with 1 new one in the books. The trailer was a little weird for me to understand, but my understanding is there's going to be the base game and at least 4 expansions to play on, and then there's going to be a feature to where you can download new mods and campaigns similar to what Doom was doing for the Switch and PlayStation and so on, which is fantastic in my opinion. I'm kind of surprised that they pulled that, but granted, I'm someone who's actually been wishing for games like this to be released for the Switch. Like, that's the biggest deal for me, because it means I don't have to buy an expensive fucking laptop. I know some people argue about the Steam Deck, but side topic. Overall, this is cool, this is great, and I haven't bought it yet for my Switch yet, but I'm very curious about if it launched good in comparison to what they did with Doom 1 and Doom 2. Now, the other thing that I just found out is the Quake version that's on Steam got updated, and now it's going to have the crossplay and the updated features and everything like that, so you don't even have to use a source port like Dark Places anymore. I have not tested that either. Correction, I now have tested it, so I'm going to be removing everything past this point just to talk about this version that I just tested for like the last 30 fucking minutes. This version, honestly, I think is solid. There was a weird issue I had with the episode 1 level 2, around where you have to kill a bunch of those knights, hit the switch, get the silver key. For some reason, that area was causing a slowdown, even though, like, the game says it was running at 60. I'm not sure why it was doing that. That was weird. I'm doing some more tests. I haven't seen it do that since. Not sure if there was something related to downloading or processor. I don't know. Either way, it works great. The setup is cool. They have a lot of the options that can be considered standard, especially some of the additional graphical settings with the models, the fidelity and things like that. I know some people are probably going to complain it's not as robust as Dark Places was. It's fine. I think it's okay. You don't need all of those features all the time. It's one of those personal preference kind of things. That's just how I feel about it, but I understand some people are going to be upset. It's the same situation that Doom 64 ran into. It functions fine. The mouse settings, I think, are a little awkward. I'm not sure if I'm just still working on the tuning of it, but it always feels like it's either too slow or too fast no matter where I put it at. So I'm figuring that out. There's a weapon wheel for the console reasons. From my understanding, there's split screen on the PC version with the online play, all that jazz. This version is great, and the fact that it was updated for free for anyone who owned it on Steam, I think is a nice thing that they did. I I was never going to expect them to do that because no one should honestly assume that just because there's an update that there's going to be a free update for you. I know that's somewhat controversial of opinion to certain circles, but seriously, I don't understand people who complain about how there wasn't a free update when there's a remastered release or whatever. It's fine. Companies have no obligations. Moving on, I think this version is actually really, really fun for what they're giving, especially because for $10, if you don't have this, $10 gets you Quake 1, the 2 original expansions, I think one of the new expansions that was released a couple years ago, a brand new one no one has ever seen, with the add-on features similar to the Doom stuff like I mentioned just before. And what's cool is in the add-on section, they added Quake 64, and the graphics are there. Like, the really bad, like, muddling effect and the level design, it's there. Holy shit! They didn't have to do that, but they did. So this is incredible, and I'm kind of giving a thumbs up to this right now. Obviously, we'll see later down the line if there's other issue. I've also noticed that it seems like that they've tuned Nightmare difficulty in this version, either intentional or by accident. I want to say intentional. But Nightmare difficulty seems to make it to where your max health can't go past 50 unless you pick up a mega health, which is interesting to me that they did that, and makes Nightmare difficulty more of an interesting mode to do. Because all Nightmare did in Quake 1 was it just made enemies shoot faster. That was it. No other modifications besides that. There was probably a damage multiplier, but I never could tell between Hard and Nightmare. But it seems like they want to make Nightmare more of a distinction, especially because there's achievements for it. So they had it to where your max health stays at 50. The items around you can't be picked up unless you're below it. You can only go above 50 if you pick up a mega health. That's kind of fascinating to me that they did that feature. I'm in a weird state of like, I like it, but I also wish they didn't touch it and keep it original. But hey, you know, that's fine. But, yeah. I have not bought it for my Switch yet, so I don't know if it's going to function exactly amazing for the Switch, but I hope so. But this is incredible. Yeah. That's it. Have a wonderful day and take care for this video.